Join us and help us continue to support the many talented people of our community. Learn how to get your business highlighted on La Crosse Local. Go to lacrosselocal.com and click on Advertise. The Frozen River Film Festival is taking place February 5th through 12th in Winona, Minnesota. Nearly 50 feature and short-form documentary films that will take you to the heart of current events, the forefront of social change, and distinct cultures in an increasingly global community. For tickets and more information, visit frff.org. Join us at the Crosse Winter Roots Festival Saturday, February 11th at the La Crosse Center. We'll celebrate Wisconsin favorites in music, cuisine, local beer, and spirits. Grab tickets at lacrosselocal.com. We sat down with Andrew Temte and Johnny Nielsen of The Remainders. Through Andy, because of some technical difficulties, we heard all about Johnny's life in music and road to the band. We also chatted about the newest single, New Man, and got into collaborating on songwriting, and what to expect from the 2023 La Crosse Winter Roots Festival. Catch The Remainders live at the La Crosse Winter Roots Festival on February 11th. You can find more conversations, food reviews, live music, weekend picks, and events on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is La Crosse Local.
Okay, John.
I'm here now.
There you are. Oh, my goodness.
I'll try to get the video up, too, so I can see you guys. But yeah, at least I'm here audio-wise, so.
No worries. It sounds like you're coming in from 1957.
Perfect. It's like a real radio show.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to know, where did the name The Remainders come from originally? Did we talk about that before? Is that?
No, we haven't. And it's awesome for a show because the band started at the 25th class reunion of the class of 1978. So this is back in the fall of 2003. My sister was the lead singer, and they were supposed to only get together for that one show for the class reunion, and that was going to be it. They called themselves The Remainders. Our former guitar player, Kurt Schuldes, he and I are both finance guys, and we both hold the Chartered Financial Analyst, the CFA credential. Anyway, in the world of finance, especially endowment finance, there's something called the remainderman, who is the individual who gets everything that's left over in the estate after the income beneficiaries get the income from the estate during their lifetimes. Anyway, he wanted to call the band the Remaindermen after that financial concept. And we're all like, yeah, no. And so it got shortened to the Remainders. I like to joke that the band name The Leftovers was already taken, so we had to do the Remainders. That explanation tends to go over a little better.
Well, I put Johnny in the waiting room because I think he was moving around with his phone. Can you hear us still? Can you hit unmute?
Are you there, John?
And my next question's for Johnny too, so maybe we'll skip that one and he can get on and we can talk about. It's the latest single that is New Man, isn't it?
It is.
And that came out about 3 months ago, and it looked like on YouTube you had quite a few listens too as well.
That song's gone really well. As I mentioned before the show started, we've figured out the Spotify playlist thing, and we're on like 30 playlists globally. Did you know that German listeners, that's our number 2 geography. I think Croatia is number 5 and awesome. Brazil is number 7. So we're like all over the world. It's awesome.
Yeah. 10,000 monthly listeners. Was it we were saying before?
Yeah. 10,500, climbing about 500 listeners a day. It's awesome.
The New Man song, it has been out for a little bit. How did that song come about? I know we talked in the past a little bit about your own past, but working with your son, Is that kind of like this song kind of in that realm from that catalog that you were working on before, or is it something new? Or
All the songs that I've written have been written in one of two places, either A, on my bicycle riding out Highway 33 toward Leo and Leona's, or B, on an airplane. And it's that kind of that rush of the air or the airplane engines going rah, rah, rah. And it just allows my mind to wander, and, snippets of melodies just jump into my mind. So New Man was written on my bicycle on the way out to Leo and Leona's and back to my house.
Now I am a new man. I know the road is long and I gotta keep riding, but I am a new man. I'll find a peace of mind and my space in my heart to make the time. I've got to read the sign.
And every time this happens, I jump off my bike, I run into the house, and I try to write down as much as I can. But, Brent, I'm sure people have the thought I'm just a total idiot because I'm on my bicycle and I've got my phone out and I've got the audio app, the audio recording app out, and I'm screaming into my phone as I'm riding down the road. So yeah, the album, which we're eventually going to have enough music for, will be entitled Songs Written on a Bike or something like that.
That'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
I really hope that's the name of the album. Maybe I could ask you the questions about Johnny as he's, trying to get into the Zoom call.
I would love to answer Johnny questions.
Can you tell us a little about Johnny? How did he come into the band? Did you know his background in music and all that?
So, well, Johnny, to me, as a local musician, was somewhat of a mystery. I knew of him. I knew the bands that he played in when I was also a younger man. Our paths never really formally crossed. I'm talking back in the late 1970s and the early 1980s, the days of hair bands, et cetera. But we were looking for a new guitar player back in 2015. And Steve Duff said, I know the guy. And he introduced us to John. John showed up for that first practice, and the chemistry was there. He's an awesome guitar player, but for us, it's much more about the brotherhood and the chemistry than it is about it's how we all fit together. And when you come see us play live, it should be very obvious that we're all about how it fits together.
With that, basically what you're saying is some good collaborations happening. Do you guys all write together?
No, the way that we're writing right now is our son, Nick, and Nick is the producer and co-writes a lot of the parts of the song. I come to the table with the frame and the idea in my head, and then he helps me flesh it all out. And then for the individual band members, we give each of them parts to perform in the studio, and then it all comes together. Nick pulls it all together. It's this wonderful father-son collaboration and collaboration with the band members. The band is so gracious because I'm really using this as a time to write music with our son, which is just a phenomenal experience.
It does seem like just like a family. I would imagine at least a band being a family with it. Just kind of going back that we're waiting for Johnny to get on here. Maybe we could figure it out, but it's kind of fun to hear it from you in some ways. So basically we have the guitar player, Johnny Nielsen, correct?
That's right.
Another thing is we worked together, paired together for the first Crosse Winter Roots Festival last year, kind of coming out of COVID. I think probably one of the maybe somewhat biggest, largest shows in the new ballroom in La Crosse Center. Did you enjoy that show?
Oh, yeah. That was such a wonderful night. And, you mentioned coming out of COVID. Yes, it was February of 2021. Things were still, COVID definitely still a thing. But boy, it was nice to be in front of a larger live audience. The day was great. And I'm really looking forward to 2023. No, take that back. It was February 22 that we had our first show. So coming out of COVID, it was really nice to be in front of a live audience.
Especially in the winter, it just seemed like to be a festival to have 23 artists we had there, but also to have, I believe, 6 or 7 bands where you could spend a whole entire day popping in, popping out, but also listening to majority, 99%, about that, of local bands. You brought in some great sound, some great sort of presentation with it in that new ballroom, and people have been in there since. And it's just such a great space for the community, but also directly on the river. Is there anything different that you're going to be bringing to this show this year? I know we have a different setup.
Yeah, so we'll have a different setup. The Remainders have now 3 original songs, and by the time February 11th rolls around 2023, we'll have number 4 released. We probably won't perform that live. We'll do the same thing we did last year and make it our intro song. But yeah, we'll bring 90 minutes of high energy. Interstate Sound does such a great job, and what you guys all bring to the table, the Crosse Distillery, Christian is so awesome to work with as well. Everybody should come down, enjoy the day. Hopefully we're not in the deep freeze on February 11th, and we, have a nice 20-degree day that allows folks to come in and out.
Well, even last year, it was a cold day, and we still pulled a lot of people that could come for that.
Yeah.
One thing I like about this festival too, and I think it's the way people actually listen to music now, we have a wide variety, I guess, of music. We have Ryan Nietzsche and the Buffalo Gospel, which is country. We have Chicken Wire Empire, which is kind of a mix of traditional and contemporary bluegrass. And they're actually playing with Chris Costino of Big Woo, which kind of jumps into that jam band thing.
Yeah.
Smoking Bandits, everybody loves them locally. The Remainders, of course, and also Phoenix is busting out a set during the Bloody Mary experience. I'm sure you've met all those guys in that band, but that's something that's going to be special for those early ticket holders.
Yeah, if you're, please do consider coming early to see Phoenix. I know all 4 of those men very well, and they're so much fun to watch. They live in different communities. Some of them are here in La Crosse, but Norbert's down in Nashville, and they come together. And that band is also brotherhood. I talked before about the Remainders and how I grew up with 2 sisters, so I never had any brothers. And to have 5 other men that I consider brothers, I know Phoenix has the same kind of love that you can viscerally see and connect with when you're in the audience watching what they're doing. So,
Johnny, did you make it on? You there?
Am I there?
You're there.
You're there.
I just shut the phone down and then redialed and re-entered the meeting. So apparently that's what I needed to do because it wouldn't unmute.
Well, you came on right when we were done. Andy answered all your questions for you.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect.
No, I think people actually want to hear it from your mouth. We've talked to Andy a few times, everything from his podcast to music to Right Into the Sun. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Maybe where you grew up and what led you to music?
Well, I'm local. I grew up in La Crosse. I've had a love of music my whole life. I was in the foster care system for a while, and I think just as something to kind of pass the time and something to do, I started playing guitar in my foster home. And after I moved back with my mom, it just kind of took off from there. And I had a few friends that had, were playing in a band and stuff. So it just, at a very young age, it just was something that I've always wanted to do. I've always loved music, but I never really got interested in the guitar until I, was in my foster home. And then my brother-in-law too was very instrumental in getting me started too. He played guitar in various bands around years ago, and he kind of, showed me a lot of stuff, and it just took off from there.
Meeting up with the Remainders, I guess, a little later from when the band started, did you always know about Andy and that music and wanted to join, or did he force you to join the band?
All the gun to my head. Everybody around this area knows or knew who the Remainders were. They were kind of like the gold standard as far as like the rock bands in the area. There's a lot of really great local talent here. But from my perspective, looking in, they played the music that I really, grew up with, all the 70s stuff and 80s stuff. they just, to me, seemed like something that I would, although I never dreamed that I would ever be asked into the band, that's the kind of band that I always wanted to join. Something that you could play the music that you loved, but do it at a very professional level, because they were all really great musicians. And the production level was like next level compared to what a lot of the other bands were doing. Typical bar bands and stuff were just not on par with what, Andy and, those guys were doing.
Yeah, just kind of work with the Remainders over this past, going on to the second annual Winter Roots Festival. You guys don't mess around. Hopefully we can get that smoke machine running this year, though.
No,
Yeah.
and Andy's always been go big or go home. Yeah, right. He's, like I said, the production level, the music is great. And, the musicians in the band are just top notch, but the production level is just like something that's more on a professional level than, I've never been involved with anything like that.
So from your angle, we got a little word from Andy about how collaboration works, how songwriting works. You're going to have your fourth song coming out along Winter Roots.
Yeah.
How do you guys jump in, or how do you work with that, what he brings to the table?
Well, I think, when Andy said it before, he and Nick are the songwriters, and they pretty much have everything hammered down as to how it's going to be. And then basically I'll get the files and learn my parts and just put my own spin on what Nick has already laid down. So, I mean, it's very similar to what Nick, there's room for interpretation here and there, but I think as far as Nick has an idea of what he wants down, so I stick as true as I can to that, but I just kind of put my own spin on it.
We were talking about here before you jumped on, just the number of bands, this, kind of spreading across different genres. Just to close it out, we also have Knee High July, which plays bluegrass, kind of folk rock, but we also even have some hip hop this year, something with the Lavender Project. I think it's a good melding of different local bands. And then we have, we have the boys from Milwaukee that are being in town too, like we said, Chicken Wire Empire, the Buffalo Gospel, who's, a breathtaking band to check out. It's going to be a fun day for sure.
Oh yeah, I think it's great that there's so many different genres that are involved, because it just brings a real eclectic mix of people. I think it's great.
What else do we want to talk about? Andy, you got anything?
Well, just make sure that you bring some cash for the Hunger Task Force. That's the charity that'll be there. My wife, Linda, is on the board and helps with the fundraising for this event. So, there'll be a great silent auction. Last year we had a pretty high-end acoustic guitar from Dave's Guitar Shop that we auctioned off, and we'll do something similar there. So, it's a day about music and art and some good food and some great drink and great camaraderie, but we're also there to help those in need and help alleviate and reduce hunger in the area. So bring an extra pocket full of cash for Hunger Task Force.
People are having a great time kind of bidding on those, but also this year, people can actually check their items when that's over with in the coat check. So if you buy art, once the silent auction is over, you can actually check it with your coat. And another thing we're doing differently, because we learned from our mistakes, hopefully, is that everybody can pretty much have a chair. So we had a great big room. Maybe we expected more dancing, which it was happening, but we're going to try to put out a lot more chairs. We also have the early entry tickets, Bloody Mary experience presented by La Crosse Distilling Company. We also have our beer coming back, Winter Roots Gotsy Black Lager, which I'm sure a lot of people had. Yeah, man, it's going to be fun. I'm pumped. I'm excited about the lineup, and I just, I'm excited for year 2. I'm just pumped for live music in general,
Dana Erickson, who runs Interstate Sound, our production company, he and I had coffee the other day, and a number of live performance events that are coming up here in 2023, they're going to be really busy. Yes, the resurgence of live entertainment in 2023. Buy your tickets to Winter Roots Fest. If you're not from La Crosse, drive in, get a hotel room, spend the night, spend the day with the music, enjoy downtown La Crosse. You just can't beat it.
And I'm so sorry to Johnny, because I muted him again and I can't unmute him. So I apologize. I didn't mean to do that on purpose. So people can go to theremainders.com. Soon to be on TikTok, I hear, but you're on all the social media, the YouTube. people listen to your music on Spotify. Where else? Oh, and the podcast. People can find your podcast too, right?
My podcast at andrewtemte.com. That's on the leadership and organizational health and continuous improvement side. So I live a dueling life. One as a musician and rock artist, and the other as a management consultant. So
and this is all about rocking. So this
is all about rocking.
We'll leave it at that.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com, and you can subscribe to the La Crosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.